Good morning, rideshare drivers, any driver out there, in fact, rideshare professor here. I hope your day is off to a good start. Here's an interesting article I came across. CEOs, people that run these massive tech companies spend insane amounts on security, keeping themselves safe, right? Because their lives are always on the line. Many of these people are rather controversial characters, whether you operate Google, Facebook, Twitter. Not everyone will always agree with your opinion, and there are a lot of haters out there. I found it not surprising that Dara K, the Uber CEO, was one of the CEOs that spent the most money on security, and I'll get there. We'll walk through a couple of characters. You'll find this rather interesting. The headline here: bulletproof panels, private jets, and rumored secret passages. Here's what it costs to protect the world's richest tech moguls, right? So I'll get to Dara K in this article. I'll also leave the link below. But to me, again, it's not a surprise. People don't like him, and there's a lot of Uber drivers I think he's crossed or wrongfully deactivated, and they don't like him, right? So it comes to no surprise that he spends major money on his own security and security entourage. Now, here in LA, I've driven several hip-hop stars. They often take armed guards with them, security. So that guy in your car, he's armed, he's taking care of the group. And on a few occasions, I had to go out and subcontract, get in a vendor and pay for the security up front for specific VIPs when they came into town, right, to keep the individuals safe on my trip. Back in South Africa, I also had a security company running my operations down there. So I have a lot of knowledge, interfacing with security, working with them, knowing what happens in certain situations that you can get prepared for. Our car is a hot box. We're driving around, unknown riders, unknown pool riders getting into our car. And these guys here have the money to spend the safety on themselves, right? But God forbid they have to spend a cent or a dime on our safety. Right, so their lives worth a lot of dollars spending money on, but the people that make them the money, it's sad to see that they don't keep those individuals safe, namely the drivers. So let's dive right in here. This is a well-known face. He spends big money on security. We'll get there just now. Silicon Valley executives are among the richest people on the planet. They are also among the most famous and can become a lightning rod for public anger, right? And driver anger towards Dara K, not surprised, right? So wherever he goes, as you will see later, this guy spends a lot of money on safety. And if you're watching this, Dara, how about you spend a little bit of that money on us, the drivers that make you the money? Just a little thought there, right? They spend millions on security measures, hiring armed bodyguards, installing bulletproof panels in their offices, and installing rumored escape passages, right? Scroll on how much like the likes of Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos spend on security. Those are without two of the most wealthy people out there. And you'll see what they spend. Silicon Valley contains a high concentration of the world's richest tech billionaires, many of whom spend huge amounts on personal security measures. Public filings can give us some insight into how much tech moguls spend on security as their companies shell out millions to keep their executives safe, sometimes by buying them commodities like private planes. Public records are just the tip of the iceberg, as Silicon Valley's richest can supplement their security costs out of their own deep pockets. Jack Dorsey spends $68,500, right? Doesn't seem like a lot of money for that type of position, right? He was accosted by right-wing conspiracy theorist Alex Jones earlier after giving evidence to Congress and probably upped his security entourage, paying them more. Jack Dorsey's security costs were last revealed in 2016 in a filing and showed that Twitter paid him $68,000 for residential security and protective detail. Eric Schmidt, $296,353. Schmidt stepped down as Google chairman in 2018, and the previous year the company spent just under $300,000 on Schmidt's personal security, right? Tim Cook, $310,000. Apple spent $310,000 on CEO Tim Cook in 2018, according to a proxy statement filed in January of this year, especially considering Apple regularly dips in and out of being the world's most valuable company. Sundar Pichai, $1.2 million. Wow. Google spent $1.2 million on security CEO Sundar Pichai in 2018, almost double the previous year when he was handed $680,000 for personal protection. The sudden uptick in Pichai's security expenditure came months after an active shooter entered YouTube's San Bruno campus, injuring 3 employees, right? Pichai's new overall security program was approved in July 2018, 3 months after Nazim Najavi Agdam shot 3 people and then herself. We see this type of behavior, shooters, assaulters, knivers, stabbers in our own cars, right? But again, I'm throwing this in there. They don't pay attention to that. Jeff Bezos. Now, I would think the guy would spend way more money, being one of the world's richest people, right? $1.6 million. The world's richest man doesn't spend the most on security, at least not publicly. Forbes reports that the amount Amazon shells out for Bezos' security hasn't changed since 2012, despite the billionaire's wealth growing by approximately $113 billion. An Amazon spokesman said Bezos pays separately for his personal security. Bezos recently had bulletproof panels installed in his office, right? The Seattle sitting plan permit spotted by the Daily Beast showed that Amazon applied to install bulletproof panels in Bezos' office. The panels cost $180,000. Let's go on from Bezos to, who do we have here? Larry Ellison, heavy hitter, spends $1.6 million. Oracle pays the annual costs of protecting CTO and co-founder Larry Ellison's primary residence, which Forbes speculated is likely to be his Japanese architecture-inspired Woodside estate in California. Here we go. So after all these individuals, right? After this guy, Dara K, spends $2 million more than Larry Ellison, more than Jeff Bezos, more than Apple CEO, right? I've read you a whole bunch of names, and here we are at 2 million. You've got to ask yourself, why does this individual have to spend so much on security? I would like your feedback. If you're at this point, you're watching the video, you're 8 minutes in the video and you found it as fascinating as I did, please chime back why you think this guy has to spend this type of money for his security. Uber's recent IPO filing revealed that CEO Dara K compensation included $2 million for security costs, roughly equivalent to his bonus. So he gets his salary, right? Let's stop here for a second and just show you how much greed is actually going on. He gets his salary of $42 million, gives himself another $2 million bonus for doing well, which we know is absolutely not the truth, right? And then spends another $2 million on security. Wow. That blows me away. Sheryl Sandberg, $2.9 million. She's the Facebook COO. Mark Zuckerberg, an astounding $20 million, 10 times that of Dara K, right? Zuckerberg's security costs skyrocketed in tandem with the company's disastrous 2018. Facebook spent $10 million on personal protection for Zuckerberg last year, up to $2.5 million from the year before. He was also given a pre-tax allowance of $10 million for additional cost. Read that, right? You can read that. I just want to get to the different figures. Zuckerberg's security details includes 24/7 protection. You can read all of that. The Facebook CEO is even rumored to have an escape passage under his conference room. Sounds like El Chapo with all his tunnels there, right? Elon Musk, don't quite know what he spends, but I'm sure he spends a lot of money. One of the most bombastic and divisive personalities to dominate Silicon Valley. Elon Musk's security costs are not readily available. Then who else do we have here? Is there anybody that really, really sticks out? Google co-founders Larry Page and Sergey Brin haven't revealed their security costs for many years. And that's it, folks. But what I think sticks out there is what our CEO from Uber, right? There he is, spending $2 million on security. More than Jeff Bezos, more than Tim Apple, more than a lot of people that make way, way more money than him. That should tell us a lot, right? That he's spending all this security on his own safety, but nickels and dimes when it comes to our security. Please chime in. I really want your feedback, and I appreciate your feedback. Have a wonderful day from the Rideshare Professor.